Destiny Rising is just around the corner, coming on August 28th. And with over 10 million pre-registrations, there's a lot of buzz about this game from content creators in the Destiny 2 community and beyond lately. But as someone who played both the alpha and the beta extensively and experienced absolutely everything they had to offer, and as someone who was a participant in the PlayStation 3 Destiny 1 alpha and has logged almost 1,000 hours into Destiny 1 and 3,500 hours into Destiny 2, I believe my perspective into Destiny Rising may be a bit unique to some of the creators who vacationed in the game and moved on fairly quickly. A little background. I was obsessed with Destiny since its inception. I maxed out all 3 character classes on PlayStation 3 during the alpha, then turned around and maxed out all 3 classes during the beta on PlayStation 3 and again on Xbox 360. From then on, I was completely hooked on the game. Destiny 1 felt like the video game that I was born to play. It was the game that fit me. The grind, the mechanics, everything felt like a true evolution of the shooters I loved and had grown up with, including Halo and Call of Duty. Destiny was promised to be this huge leap forward for the genre, and I was all in on it. The week Destiny was to release, I took a full week off from work planning to grind the game. When the servers went live at 3 a.m. Eastern, my friends and I logged on and started our journey, and what followed was a complete blur of no sleep and micro naps. I played the game almost non-stop for 3 days, only taking the occasional hour or 2 nap to refresh myself. What I discovered was, well, not quite what I was expecting. The mechanics were there, but the story was disjointed at best, and ambiguous at worst. The bugs and glitches, they were everywhere. If you ask some people now, they'll reflect and talk about how bad the shape of Destiny actually was at launch. Me? I remember it as one of the absolute best times of my life. There's few times I can reflect on something like glitch-ridden games and smile, but Destiny is a clear exception to that. Before the launch of Vault of Glass, Destiny's first ever raid, my friend and I would spend hours clipping out of the map and exploring future content and forbidden areas. There were secret quests to discover and exotics to earn. The future was bright and open. But then came Vault of Glass, an experience that without a doubt saved Destiny and single-handedly cemented the franchise's place into the annals of history. This was a different kind of game. Fast forward to 2025, and we recently got the Edge of Fate, and for the first time since the Destiny franchise's inception, I am now a free-to-play player. If I patron the game at all, I would say my playtime is actually substantially lower than it used to be. I just don't enjoy it, I don't like the company, I don't like their decisions. But the question arises then, why? Why would a 1%er, someone with nearly 145 concurrent days in playtime in the current game, decide to step away from it completely? Again, the answer's simple. I'm just not satisfied with Bungie's handling of the franchise anymore. Final Shape was a fantastic conclusion and a masterclass in content delivery and substance. Exotics were aplenty, the raid, though difficult, was amazingly and methodically built out, the activities introduced in the expansion felt fleshed out and filled with secrets, and Prismatic is a fantastic victory for the build crafting community and extremely fun to use. Even with the server issues, I can't speak highly enough about how good, on the whole, Final Shape and its post-campaign part, Exempting Acts, actually was. Which is why it's a natural off-ramp from the game I've dedicated the better part of 10 years of my life to. What Destiny needed to do to bring me back, and many others, is hit the gas in a major way that made the next chapter, which starts off another multi-year saga, feel important, unskippable, and valuable. They failed to do this, and as a result, Edge of Fate does literally none of these things. Instead of feeling like a journey I must participate in, it feels more like the same issues and complaints we've had that have only piled up since Bungie split with Activision back in the Shadowkeep days, just continuing to roll down the hill. That being said, there's no clear competitor for Destiny 2. Every Destiny killer touted game has had in itself failed to affect the game's standing, with the casualties ranging from BioWare's Anthem, which will see its server shut down in January of 2026, The Division 1 and 2 Outriders, which recently saw its second game installment canceled, and The First Descendant, whose player numbers have only dwindled since its release, all without actually damaging the standing of Destiny in the slightest. There were so many failures on this front that the community started saying variations of the same statement. The only ones who can kill Destiny are Bungie, or only Destiny can be the Destiny killer. And for a while, it was hyperbole. It was meant to poke fun at the failures of other companies had put forward in an attempt to dethrone Destiny and its stranglehold on its niche market space. But little did we know how true that statement could actually end up being. Enter Destiny Rising. During the most recent beta phase on Android-only devices, I personally logged an average of 8 to 10 hours per day into the beta, every single day. I completed every world quest and leveled the world vendors to 18 for each of the available destinations, joined a wolf pack and helped climb the ranks on the leaderboards with them, unlocked every available character through pulls, leveled multiple characters to as close to max ranks as I could, leveled every character available to at least 16, maxed out my fishing rank, caught every available fish in the game, became a top-ranked player on multiple characters on multiple leaderboards, built a solid Shadow Shaper deck, collected every non-exotic gun available and a good portion of the exotics too, and generally just experienced everything the Destiny Rising beta had to offer. And after all of that extensive playtime, I can without a single doubt tell you that Destiny Rising is not the Destiny killer. Destiny Rising is its own beast entirely. As a game, it has deep flaws, but it also has glaring strengths that really play into elevating the gameplay and the experience of the player. In fact, I've spent 8 years chasing that nostalgic feeling Destiny 1 gave me through Destiny 2, only to finally arrive at the conclusion that the game I loved and the people making it are no longer around or steering the ship. The current iteration of Destiny 2 will continue to make slight alterations to its course to attempt to entice players to return, but it will never manage to be that return to form I craved for oh so long. There's question if even something as dramatic as a Destiny 3 could produce the results I long for. But somehow, against the odds, NetEase managed to deliver an experience that I believe comes as close to achieving my desired outcome as possible. Destiny Rising nails the core Destiny experience in a lot of major ways. It doesn't just copy what's been though, it also expands upon the presented ideas, offering many of its own while adapting the existing to better fit their desired audience. The game's plot takes place in an alternate timeline, disjointed and disconnected from the mainline Destiny lore as we know it, but also somewhat entwined with it as well, giving us glimpses at Neteases' takes on established characters like Radagast, Scori, Ikora, the Drifter, called Wu Ming in this game, Saladin, and Kabir. These characters are introduced with new vigor and personality as Risen, those reawakened after death with the light of the Traveler granted from a ghost. Each Risen character has a role to play, with some being usable characters and others acting as NPCs and playing a role in the world's ever-expanding story. New world elements such as Sentinels and characters like Donovan, Morgren, the Ahamkara, Mu Ying, and Harrow fit into the expanded lore and build upon pre-established lore to create its own take on the Destiny universe. The gunplay and controls feel distinctly Destiny and Bungie-like, but with the added bonus of working in both first and third person and making the mode toggleable, leaving the choice of how to play entirely up to the player. The writing, while nowhere near AAA level for the first leg of the game, substantially improves during the second chapter of the campaign. All the normal pieces of the Destiny gameplay loop, such as PvP, Iron Bar, PvEvP, Shifting Gates, Strikes, Haven Ops, Free Roam, The Coil, Realm of the Nine, and Raids, Gauntlet Ops, are present with their own unique twists and restrictions. If that's all the game presented, it in and of itself wouldn't be anything more than a ported, watered-down version of the Destiny experience adapted for the mobile market. But surprisingly, the similarities to the existing franchise isn't what drew me into Destiny Rising. It's the ways in which the game differs that made me understand that Destiny Rising is a unique experience all its own. It's an ambitious RPG sci-fi shooter sharing some game aspects but expanding on many, many others. Offerings like sparrow racing, manually triggered public events, clan or wolfpack housing, base building, fishing, AFK farming, and other widely requested features round out the content offering presented, really helping to elevate the Destiny Rising game from being a cheap mobile knockoff to a full-fledged title in the series. The gameplay feels authentic to the Destiny experience, but takes liberties to not only grant longtime Destiny community requests, but also build the game into its own niche and its own audience. By far, the most community-dreaded aspect of Destiny Rising is the gacha portion of the game. Characters have set kits and weapon-type loadouts are acquired through draws, which is where the gacha element comes into play in this game. Prior to playing this game, my experience with gachas was somewhat limited. But since I've gone on to start Honkai Star Rail, Zenless Zone Zero, Wuthering Waves, and Genshin Impact, and my opinion of the game's monetization structure has shifted dramatically as a result. After seeing the offerings and systems in other gacha games, I believe Destiny Rising is a much more rewarding experience with better, more worthwhile pools. Its pools are purchased with either silver as the real money currency or by trading Lumina leaves as a freely acquired currency and come in two different flavors, standard and special, referred to as standard Bon Voyage charms and limited edition or LE Bon Voyage charms. Limited edition pools are used to pull for banner characters during events such as Gwen and Estella in the beta, while the standard edition applies to the main pool of standard 5-star mythic and 4-star legendary characters. In the case of the Estella banner event, a new 4-star legendary was added to the limited pools for her, as well as to the world pool, enabling people to pull Umiko from either source. This seems to indicate that in the future, newly added 4-star legendaries may also find themselves added into the standard pools pool for acquisition by free-to-play and paid players alike. Unlike a lot of other gachas, there's no 50-50 system, and you're guaranteed to pull a 4-star legendary character pool every 10 pulls, much like regular gacha rules. While there is no duplicate protection for obvious reason because of how these types of systems work, pulling doubles of the character grants overflow crystals, which allows progression of the character's passive skill trees to make them more formidable. They also have a pseudo form of bad luck protection in place, guaranteeing a 5-star mythic character choice after 180 total pulls in the standard pool, and one random mythic character every 60 pulls maximum with escalating percentage chances in between. This game basically has a soft pity around, I would say, 50 and a hard pity of 60 pulls, which is pretty good given a lot of the gachas I play. As someone with no gacha experience prior, my initial impressions of this system were that it had the potential to be outrageous, requiring a lot of monetary investment to speed up the process of drawing characters and relying on luck to ensure you got them. There was no duplicate protection either, so in some instances you could draw a character enough times to fill their trees and still get the same damn character on a draw, and nothing feels worse than that. While it does give you extra materials you can use to buy a vast array of items from the shop, including advancement materials and potentially other characters and or their overflow crystals, it still made sense to me that if you've maxed a character's tree out, they should be removed from the possibilities pool completely. In the introductory event the game hosts, you're given up to 150 pools for free through completing various tasks and experiencing various source activities. 150 pools sounds like a large amount, but these are dispersed behind various activities and milestones requiring a lot of effort from players to attain. Despite that, it makes the free-to-play route very much a possibility. As proof of that, my packmate and fellow content creator Fyrous actually went almost entirely free-to-play himself during the beta. When these are coupled with Lumina leaves and draws acquired through normal gameplay such as daily missions and activities, a free-to-play player could easily have 2 to 3 mythic characters from the standard pool without a single penny of investment. All of that is also without even mentioning that the game's best character is essentially given as a freebie, at least as of the beta. Wolf, the main character, is crazy good in terms of his kit and how it plays in the sandbox. Other games like Honkai require a lot of effort to build into making your version of the Trailblazer good, including other styles and investments into skill trees beyond that. But Wolf just requires a small amount of dedication and clearing the campaign to really shine. His weapons of choice are autos and grenade launchers, making him an asset when dealing with specific class of the game's version of champions called Shinkas. Kabir and Akora are okay choices as well, and both are free characters rounding out your roster to ensure that you have one of basically every element. I spent most of my personal playtime on Gwen, Ningfei, Wolf, Umiko, and Tan 2, but I had the opportunity to test and level every character to a viable point where tackling in-game content with them was a reasonable task. While some outliers exist, most characters will give you back what you put into them. The more investment into a character you make, the better they will be. This is true of every game though, including Destiny 2, where Guardians are only as good as their gear and build. Speaking of gear, in lieu of armor, Destiny Rising implements an artifact system with the ability to upgrade said artifacts. They're also equipable on multiple characters at once, meaning only one copy of the artifact actually has to be upgraded, even if you're using it across 2 or even 3 characters. The weapons each character uses also drop with random rolls, with higher rarity weapons providing access to higher tiered weapon perks. Despite this, even blue rarity perks feel as strong as most legendary weapon perks in Destiny 2, making the chase to find a role that fits your playstyle feel like less of a waste when you get a low tiered perk, as each perk has its own viability. Unfortunately, as of the beta, these perks add power stats to the weapon's power leveling, pushing the player to ignore playstyle and preference to instead chase the elusive double mythic perks roll. Collecting all the weapons in a manufacturer's offering is also beneficial, as it will upgrade the intrinsic perk on that series of weapons for free on any weapon drop once completed, making the completionist in me a very happy panda. Unlike Destiny 2 weapons, Destiny Rising weapons come complete with a frame type, intrinsic weapon perks, and 2 random rolled weapon perks. What about barrel, mag, and sight, you may be asking? Well, this is where Destiny Rising takes some major liberties on the weapon system. Barrel, mag, and sight are rolled using mods that stack additional effects to the weapon. They come in various flavors, and the rarity determines the potency of the mod. These are random rolled and can only roll up, meaning a blue random mod can only roll into a blue or higher mod on the weapon. There is a high limit on rolls per day, but in all honesty, the weapons feel good without mods, so the mods are really just cherries on top, if you will. While I didn't get to experiment with mythic and exotic weapon mods, legendaries and special bonus legendary mods felt really good, and having that lucky roll finally hit felt fantastic. The good news here is that once you finally manage to get that mod that you've been searching for, it's unlocked for any and all copies of that current weapon too. Meaning even if you get a better roll of the weapon that you unlocked it on in the future, you'll be able to take your mods with you. It's not all good though. Resources burn quick while trying to lock down that coveted roll, which will force you out of the action and back to the grind frequently. While this in and of itself isn't necessarily a bad thing, the game functions on an energy system. Pinnacle energy played a major role in the beta and acts as a major restrictor to most activities, if not pretty much all of them. Exempting a handful of free activities like Shadow Shaper duels, Sparrow Racing, Iron Bar, and Fishing, every activity requires Pinnacle energy to claim rewards. Well, let me rephrase. They don't require, as in mandatory, to get rewards per se, but they do require, as in nothing you grind is worth the effort using the free track. Free rewards in this game are an absolute joke. Once you exhaust your Pinnacle energy, you're better off turning off the game or just going fishing for a while, rather than entering any of the plethora of other activities. What's worse is the fact that there's a diminishing return system in place on free rewards too that can result in some extremely disappointing outcomes. For example, think about doing a raid encounter and getting 60 glimmer as your only reward. If that sounds terrible, I can assure you, it is. It actually happened to me. While running gauntlet op runs for records with my wolf pack, shout out to Overkill, I managed to get a crummy 60 glimmer payout for the run as a free reward. This is perhaps the absolute worst aspect of the game, and one that will greatly negatively impact the player base, but especially the free-to-play players. As of the beta, energy is refilled at a rate of 120 energy per daily reset. There's no regeneration throughout the day or any way to re-up your energy supplies without spending money on the occasionally available rare reserve energy items in the cash shop. These are usually also bundled in with pricey bundles, which require even more monetary investment from the player. If there's one thing that Destiny 2 has strived to do, it's reward player time and effort. They miss the mark or fall short from that time to time. See Curse of Osiris public event or current. But they still keep that as a primary focus. Destiny Rising nails this aspect when using capacitors to double rewards at the end of activities or pinnacle energy, but completely and utterly fails this when choosing free rewards. A warning is present that you will receive quote-unquote reduced rewards before you cash in on the small potatoes free rewards, but that notice alone fails to elicit the understanding in the player that it seeks to convey. I get it. They want to incentivize strategic utilization of energy resources and make the prime game feel rewarding. But when that's done at the expense of the free track, it's entirely too far of an overreach. The energy system and free rewards are by and large my most complained about issues with this game. And that brings me back to reality. There's a lot to love about this game, a whole lot, but it's still a mobile game. It's still only available at launch on Android and iOS natively. Sure, you can play on PC through Moomoo Player or BlueStacks, and the mouse and keyboard and controller support feel intuitive, responsive, and were overall a massive improvement from the alpha counterparts, but it's still a mobile-aimed Destiny experience. It captures that magic and feel of a Destiny entry, but it also distinctly captures that look and feel of a gacha mobile game as well. To fill the time void that Destiny Rising's beta previously occupied, I decided to try out a game that I'd previously put on the back burner forever ago, Honkai Star Rail. What I found is that a lot of the systems I had experienced in Destiny Rising had counterparts in HSR, but I also went on to try out Zenless Zone Zero and Wuthering Waves. Again, I found similar systems to what I saw in Destiny Rising present in these other games as well. At its core, it's a Destiny game. At its core, it's a gacha game. There are a lot of connotations with the fact, but also a lot of potential. Like any game, there's going to be good and bad aspects, but Destiny Rising presents itself as a marriage of ideas and evolutions to the Destiny formula that make it a meaningful addition to the franchise. It doesn't try to be Destiny or Destiny 2, and it doesn't try to be Genshin Impact. It tries to take aspects of both and be its own thing, and honestly, I dig that a lot. So with all of that said, circling back to my statement from earlier, Destiny Rising is not the Destiny killer. I may be skipping Edge of Fate in the next Destiny 2 saga, but I imagine not everyone will feel similar. Sure, the player numbers were 1/3 of what they were, but Destiny can always have a full turnaround, as loath as I am to admit it. Maybe we'll never get Destiny 3, but Destiny 2 will never truly die so long as the passionate fans still stick around. Indifference is what will kill Destiny 2. So with all that said, circling back to my statement from earlier, Destiny Rising is not the Destiny killer. I may be skipping Edge of Fate in the next Destiny 2 saga, but I imagine not everyone will feel similarly. Is the game fun? Yes, absolutely. Does it have the potential to bankrupt a lesser man or woman? 100%. Gacha games are not for the faint of heart. The temptation they present is bound to be a turnoff for a large portion of people. If you're looking for the Destiny experience in a mobile setting, this is without a doubt the definitive version of what Destiny could be in that space. If you're looking for a version of Destiny where the devs love and care about their community and show it through their actions rather than just saying it on X or Blue Sky or through a half-assed micro adjustment 9 months later, this is it. If you're looking for a one-for-one, this ain't it, Chief. In fact, Munfish's new game, The Cube, may be more your speed if that's what you're looking for. But if there's one thing that Destiny Rising, even with all its flaws and strengths, proves, it's that Destiny doesn't need Bungie as much as Bungie needs Destiny. This game is a testament to the fact that it's not just Bungie magic that makes Destiny work. The fact that Neteases manages to capture and present the genuine Destiny experience despite not having Bungie themselves massively involved in the project makes it perfectly clear that a Destiny without Bungie can still be a Destiny game. In a world where Sony now holds the fate of the studio and its franchise in the palm of their hands, a successful launch and content rollout schedule could see the tides turn away from Bungie and towards other development partners. and that prospect has to scare them shitless. Destiny Rising is not the Destiny killer, as much as many may want it to be, but it is a wake-up call to the ship of Theseus we call Bungie, that if they don't pull themselves together soon, their executives will need to use their golden parachutes and their workers will need to dust off their resumes. Marathon isn't poised to be the hit Bungie deluded themselves into thinking it would be, and Destiny 2 is massively starting to fizzle out. If Destiny Rising ever manages to get native releases and ports to other platforms, their position would be seriously compromised. With any luck, Bungie will understand this and use that knowledge to improve and course correct. And with any luck, Neteases will understand this and keep their foot on the gas. Destiny Rising is not the Destiny killer, but it is a damn good start to a brand new journey in the franchise. Thank you all for joining me today. I know this is my first video in a very long time, but real life has been extremely busy. I'm hoping to actually make a return to some content creation here and there as time allows, and I've actually got some rather ambitious ideas of what I'd like to do in the gacha space now that I've been sucked into it, for lack of a better term. I'll likely make a short video going into the specifics of where I've been and what I've been up to sometime in the near future, so if you'd like to be alerted when I get around to that, feel free to subscribe and hit the bell for some notifications. If you'd want to hear me talk more about Destiny Rising with people like myself who poured tons of hours and effort into Destiny Rising Beta, you can catch myself, Zippy, Rain, and Callum over on Fyrous' Twitch stream on August 15th for a candid and unscripted discussion on Destiny Rising, the good, the bad, and the ugly, as well as our hopes for its future. The links will be in the description. Thanks again, and I hope to see you all soon.